Koe tamariki mā. Welcome back to Hanging with Mrs. T. Today we are going to be looking at designing our own tukutuku panels. Now, before this video, you would have gone through some traditional tukutuku panels and you would have seen some things that might inspire you. So, without further ado, we are going to start designing our own one that we're going to do on paper. For your tukutuku panel, you will need a grid sheet like this. I've got a couple of different sizes. I've got ones with dots, I've got a big grid sheet, and then I've got a smaller one. So I'm going to be doing a few designs, and my inspiration is going to be matariki. You will also need your coloring pencils or any sort of coloring pens to create your design. I would suggest stick with maybe 2 or 3 colors. You don't want too many, else it's going to get too messy. For my first design, I have chosen 2 colors. I've chosen yellow and blue, and I want to make a star. Now, thinking about the star shape that I want to do, probably a smaller triangle here and then ending with a long triangle going down. I don't want it to be symmetrical on both sides. I want a bigger top and a skinnier bottom. So I'm going to measure halfway here and I'm going to draw an X. I probably want to go like that. I'm going to keep going with my X's. All right, now is the time to create your design, and once it's complete, go and see your teacher. Once you have completed your design, you need to check in with your teacher just to get that approval, and then you are going to get yourself some yarn that relates to the colors that you have selected for your tukutuku panel. Now, because I've gone with yellow and blue, I'm going to need yellow and blue. So I want to go for like a goldy color or a bright yellow and a blue like that. And you also need a needle. Okay, got my needle, got my yarns. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my needle and I'm going to poke holes on the corner of each block where I'm going to be creating my X's. That way, when you start yarning through, it's easier for the needle to go through your paper. Alright, I've poked the holes through, and if you look at the back you can see all those pretty hole patterns. What I would like to do is, when I'm creating this, I want to make my X's on this side because it will look nicer. If you're not confident in your ability, on this side is fine. This is a practice sheet. So I'm taking my yellow yarn unspooling it. Some of your yarn might not look like that. Giving it a trim. I know it's not going to be enough to cover my whole sheet. I'm going to split my yarn in half. Okay, each of these yarns, they're in 6 strands, so I'm going to be working with 3 strands. So there, I've separated it. Now I'm just going to do this. And I'll do the same with the blue yarn when I'm ready. Okay, I'm going to save this one for later, so I'm just putting it to the side. I'm going to use this one. Now the first thing that I do is I tie a knot. So you wrap it around your finger. See, I've got a little loop there, and this little tail bit I'm going to stick through once, loop around again twice, loop around again 3 times, and then I'm going to pull the little tail and push the knot to the end. This just stops my work from unraveling, and I got a little knot. Now I'm going to put my other end through my needle. My needle's a nice wide-eye needle, so it's easy to thread through. Some of you might know the licking technique, or the other one is where you wrap the yarn around the needle just like this, and you pinch it, and then you can push it through. Okay, but this one just works best for me. I'm really good at threading needles. All right, there you go. My first needle is ready. Okay, so I'm going to do it on the flip side. You don't have to if you don't want to. So I'm going to start here, push my needle through. See, I can see the cross there. Okay, then I'm going to cross over to the other side and push my needle through and pull it tight. Okay, then I'm going to go down to the bottom, push my needle through, and then cross over again. There you go, there's my first X. Now it's an X on this side, but on the other side it looks a bit like that. now that I'm almost done, I've got a couple more X's to do. I thought I'd slow it down so you can see how I work with my single X's. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to create my knot. Remember, around your fingers. Tail goes in once, twice, 3 times. Pull the tail and push the knot. You don't want to push it all the way, else it's going to fall off. Okay, and pull it tight. Now I'm going to create my X. Okay, and my last blue X is complete. Now I've got to tie it off. I'm going to make sure I've got enough yarn in my hand. I'm going to use my finger and create a loop, or just hold it there. Okay, you're going to take your needle and you're going to thread it through the loop. Once, twice, 3 times. Okay, and then you're going to let go of the loop and you're going to hold that knot in place as you pull the yarn. Okay, or you're going to pull the knot down towards the hole. You're going to pull it tight. Don't pull the yarn, else you're going to rip your paper. Okay, put your finger on the knot and pull it tight. And then you trim off the excess. If you have a lot of yarn left that someone else can use, you can then just wind it around the bobbin so someone else can use it. Okay, and then I've got my last 2 yellow X's. Now I stopped here because I wanted to show you how I would add onto this little piece of yarn here. So I've trimmed myself some extra yellow. I've halved it, so I've got 3 strands. Okay, and now I'm going to put them together. So I'm going to lay them side by side, and then I'm going to create a little knot. Oh, that doesn't want to work. Okay, my little piece might not be long enough, so I'm going to unravel it there and pull it through here so that I have a long piece to work with. These things happen. Okay. Keep them together. Form a loop. If you can, put it around your finger just like we did. So there's my little loop. And then I'm going to push it through once, twice, just twice. Okay, and same thing, you pull on the tail, you hold this little the little knot, pull it towards the paper, and there you go. And now I'm going to finish my last few X's. Right, so you're going to be learning a lot of different things while doing these tukutuku. I think the most important thing is that your tukutuku is about you and what you find important. Obviously, we want some inspiration from the Maori kingdom, and one of your designs could be inspired by matariki or whatever else it is that you find important that you've learned in Te Reo this year so far. Hence why I chose matariki, and you'll see once this is finished which star I think this most reminds me of. Come on. Oh, there's a knot in the way. Okay, almost done. We're going to get to that end bit where we're going to have to tie off our knot again. Okay, all done. Going to make my circle or my little loop. Thread the needle through once, twice, 3 times. Okay, hold the knot in place, and that's it. And then you snip off that little bit of excess. Now I've got some excess here as well. I'm going to trim those off. Trim that piece off. Got some in here. Trim that off. I don't trim right on top of the knot, else your knot will unravel. Okay, and there is my Matariki star. So I've decided that this star reminds me of Waita, and as you recall, Waita is our whetū responsible for the moana. So for our oceans and kaimoana, fish that live in the sea. And the reason why I say that is if I turn it to the side, it looks a little bit like a fish. Okay, have fun creating your tukutuku and check in for lesson 2 where we'll be doing something a little bit more complicated with smaller X's. Ka kite anō!